Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bridging the Gap. I am honored today to have one of the most amazing, talented young ladies that I had the pleasure to get to know from afar. And I hope one day we will meet and get to hear from her. I am glad that she's here with us. And without further ado, Khulud, welcome to the Hagir Network. Start by introducing yourself and tell us who you are.
Okay, good evening, everyone. And before I start, I just want to deeply appreciate Hagir for creating this amazing platform to inspire and to connect individuals. I really love the Hagir Network as it serves as a beacon to empower community voices locally and globally with education, motivation, and inspirational content. So it is truly an honor to be here today. And a little bit about myself. My name is Khulud Khudur, Khulud Elnur Khudur, and I am a board certified public health epidemiologist with over a decade of experience in biobehavioral health, academia, and I'm currently the CEO of Dr.Khulud Khudur, which is a public health firm that I launched in February of 2024. And I'm almost done with my doctorate of public health. I just need to present my dissertation. So I wrote over 100 pages, got results, everything is done. I just need to make that final presentation. And currently, this is my fourth college degree. I have two masters prior. I have a master's in public health from Marshall University, and I also have a second master's in library and information science from Catholic University. And I have a fellowship, Project Zero, with Harvard Public Health. Um, and I also was selected as one of 13 pre-doctoral fellows with Johns Hopkins University Institution for Clinical and Translational Science. So that's just a little bit about my background academically. And I would love to dive deeper into my journey and some of the lessons learned and some of the triumphs. And hopefully to inspire some of you guys who are going through similar journeys, either starting in the middle or finishing those journeys. So just to take you guys back a little bit, I am born in Sudan. I was born in Sudan and I lived there until I was 5 years old. After that, my family moved to Saudi Arabia. We stayed there for 2 years because my father was working in the health department as a translator for the government. So during those 2 years, we did not attend school because we always had the hopes and aspiration to come to America. But there were so many delays, as some of you guys know. The process of moving to the United States is not an easy process. There's a lot of documentation. There's a lot of paperwork. There's some systematic changes. Also getting documentation from Sudan to Saudi Arabia, making sure everything is legit, the spelling of name. And of course, as you guys know, we have very long names. To try to fit it into the American system was challenging. So that caused us to be delayed for 2 years. So throughout these 2 years, we just sat home, but we used to have neighbors, and I was so eager to learn what the students are learning because I was, from the time I was 5 to the time I was 7, I was eager to learn. So I would ask my neighbor and learn through her, like what they have been doing in school. And I think that taught me a very important lesson that education doesn't always come in the form of a classroom. Sometimes education comes from the form of collaboration, network, having conversation and discussions like we are having today. Um, and so the system in Saudi Arabia, in terms of education, you have to, at that time, you have to have had citizenship or you have to go to private school. So we were just hoping to go to the United States. And then since then, I traveled to Washington, D.C., and have been living here in Washington, D.C. ever since. And it's a beautiful place. It is the nation's capital, and that gave me so much inspiration. Like the most amazing country in the entire world. having all the policy, having access to the White House, having access to Congress. So it's definitely an amazing place. And my journey has taught me a lot of valuable lessons here in America. It taught me courage. It taught me to find my voice, and learning English. That was not easy, especially having not gone to school for 2 years. And sometimes also culturally, we have this common phrase in our country where it's like extend your leg as far as your blanket. And so, which literally translate into kind of like live within your means. But I have always been a dreamer. I had always been someone who dared to dream big. Despite all of the challenges, I have always been someone that chases their dream, despite risk, despite failure, despite embarrassment. And so, the journey itself is what truly matters. The outcome comes later, but the journey itself, as long as you love and enjoy the journey, that is what truly matters. And to just highlight that a little bit deeper, about chasing your dreams and not being limited by your resources. So after I graduated from Penn State University, I was conducting organic chemistry research. And during that process of conducting organic chemistry research, I did not have funding. I just came out of undergrad, did not have lots of funding. And there was an opportunity to present at a national conference. And in this national conference, I just said, I'm working on this amazing organic chemistry research, so I'm going to present my research. And in that process, I presented my abstract first. So the process is presenting your abstract. If they accept your abstract, then you're able to attend the actual conference. So I presented my abstract, but then I realized I don't have funding because the conference was in Texas. So during that time period, I learned to develop a budget proposal. I learned to apply to different scholarships. And I asked the university at that time if they could fund me, but since I have a degree already, the program that I was in did not require, if you have a degree already, they cannot provide you with funding. So I searched on how to write a budget proposal, search for outside scholarships. And so of course, my family, they were being very supportive. They said, wow, the conference is tomorrow, and if you don't have funding, you're not able to go. And I thought, wow, that is a very challenging process. But I said, I'm going to believe until the very last second. And if I don't get the opportunity to go, at least I give it my all. And so the day before I had to go to Texas to present for a national conference, I received a full scholarship that covered everything. So then, of course, we always like to think of our life and pursuing our goals as just doing the work itself, but there's so many other logistics that we have to consider. And some of those logistics are, for example, applying, finding the right opportunities, going after the opportunity, fundings. All of those are the logistics that come outside of just pursuing your goal and, conducting the actual research. The research itself comes with its own challenges. And so what I ended up doing was after I got accepted, I had to book the plane ticket. I had to find housing, book a hotel, and all of those logistics. And then after that, I went to the conference. And when I went to the conference, I realized that I was not prepared because I did not practice. Even if you know your research front and back, sometimes you have to be prepared for questions because they could come out of nowhere. It could be left side, it could be up, it could be down. So I ended up spending, of course, with most conferences, they have like a reception dinner and they have all of these pre-activity sessions. So I said to myself, I am not going to embarrass myself. So I skipped all of the activities for the conference and I stayed up all night. And I remember just studying, practicing. And then when I got to the actual day of presenting, I was like, oh my gosh, I just went through a lot. And so when the judge came, she was like, wow, I bet my money on this girl. Like this girl is very talented because I practiced so much to the point where I didn't need note cards. I was just, speaking about my topic and things of that nature. And so when they mentioned third place, I was like, I definitely, when it came to the award ceremony, they mentioned third place. I was like, I know I definitely don't have it. When they say second place winner, I was like, okay, I'm completely out of the game. And then finally, when they mentioned first place and they mentioned my name, it took me a second because I'm like, I didn't even realize it was me because I was like, I had to go through all of these challenges that I did not believe that I would be selected. So of course, with the award money, I was able to get this watch. I'm not sure if you guys are able to see it.
Yes, we can.
It has been a reminder to me ever since that I'm not going to give up to the very last second, that I'm going to pursue my dreams and pursue my goals. So that is one of the one important point that I want to emphasize is that a lot of the time, some of the lessons, we don't know all the details, but we learn as we go. And I think that's a very important lesson is just having the courage to pursue your dreams and figuring out the details as you go. I think that was very critical for me to learn, especially early on. And from that, that provided me the courage to pursue all other dreams and goals. And mind you, that was my first college degree. So since then, I got accepted to my second master's and doctorate at the same time. And any normal person will say, I either choose one or the other. But I was so ambitious and I wasn't expecting to get accepted to both my second master's and my doctorate at the same time. So I picked up the phone and I called my university and sent them an email for my doctorate and told them, can you give me just 1 year? Because I have to finish my second master's and then I will come to you guys after a year. So I went ahead and done that. And then I went to my second master and I told them I need to finish this program in a year. I know it's a 2 year program. I have to finish it in a year because I have to go to my doctorate. And of course, my second master were like, it's impossible to finish it in a year because you're working full time. This is completely out of reach. Anyone who tried has failed. So I said, okay, with that in mind, how can I prepare myself now to succeed? So what I ended up doing was Catholic University has an amazing system. So they have all the previous syllabi. So what I ended up doing was getting the previous syllabi, looking at the textbooks, and then reaching out to that professor and asking him or her, are you going to teach, are you going to have the same textbook for the following year or the following semester? Purchased all the textbook, read them in advance, because there's summer break, there's winter breaks, there's Thanksgiving break. So read all my textbook before then. And when I entered the classrooms, I know exactly where the professor is going because I have read the entire textbook before the semester started. I understood how all the different lessons come together, and I understood the end goal of where the professor was going. And I think that was critical. So then I finished the program, my second master's in a year with a 3.79, and it's just about that level of preparation. So you definitely, sometimes life can present its own challenges, but if you are persistent, if you prepare, if you plan, you're able to accomplish anything. And I know it seemed overwhelming, and looking back, that was very challenging. But alhamdulillah, that was done. So now I want to transition a little bit and talk about some of my cultural insights and also discuss kind of like the American culture versus the Sudanese culture and kind of like how
My
to.
face hurt from smiling. I just want to say, like, I'm in love And I hope everyone watching us now is enjoying it as much as I am. Continue, Khulud.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So now I'm going to just talk a little bit about some cultural insights, um, the difference between the Sudanese culture, the American culture, and how to take the best of both worlds. And especially as a young person, how do you navigate the feelings of being pulled from two different directions? And how do you make harmony from those two different directions? I think that is very critical, especially for us, as Sudanese, living in America and having to go through these different challenges with really no roadmap. A lot of the time, with school, with education, at least there's a roadmap, there is mentors, there is people that could support you. But with the cultural differences, you feel like you're constantly in the in-between phase. You're not fully in the Sudanese culture and you're not fully in the American culture. So you're kind of like balancing both. And um, to some degree, they're almost polar opposite. Like even look at the language. We speak we write from right to left, and English is from left to right. So even just something as basic as speaking, you have to change the words, change the order of words. So sometimes you find a lot of kids growing up in America having that challenge of, okay, do I speak in English? Do I speak in Arabic? Which one is more comfortable? Um, and beyond just the language differences, there's also the different cultures. Sudan is very different, and the culture in Sudan and the culture in America are completely different. And I think one thing that I do want to highlight is a lot of the time, our parents really have our best interests at heart. They really do. Sometimes they're afraid because it's a different culture. They don't know how to navigate it. They want to make sure you're safe, you're healthy. And so a lot of the time that comes in a form of protecting your kids and not having them try new opportunities, not having them pursue their full potential because you're afraid, they might go, for example, they might go to college. And when they go to college, you're afraid, they might face challenges of living on their own. Are they going to make the right choices? Have I equipped them with the right tools? So we have a lot of fear, and sometimes that fear really kind of hold our kids in a box. And it's important to, provide your kids with the guidance and provide them with that ability. So one of my biggest challenge culturally was when I turned 18, graduated from high school, and I had to transition into going to college. Of course, my family, they're very conservative. So the idea of a female going to college, living on her own, and pursuing education was just like a new concept. So they were like, no way, there is no way that you're able to that we will let you go to college. There's all of these dangers and all of these challenges. So throughout that time period, it was very challenging for me because I spent the majority of the time being sad about possibly not going, even after getting accepted to Penn State. But what I realized, what truly helped me was having navigating those conversations with my family. And of course, it was very challenging, but having great mentors and great family members that come together to help support, facilitate some of those conversations. Like some of my mentors to this day, like Barbara and Gwen, I consider them family. And some of my Sudanese mentors and family members, they also serve as my advocate to really bridge the gap between the culture, telling my family like, wow, this girl has produced a lot of great, amazing work. So please let her go, provide her with the tools and provide her with the guidance and have continue communication with her. But please don't hold her back from achieving her full potential because of fear. But one thing that I discovered, of course, when you're young, you don't understand how all of these cultures come together to uplift you. You know, a lot of the time we think, I have to choose between the Sudanese culture or the American culture. But as you get older, all the little dots make perfect sense. They come together in harmony. You get to understand our rich, beautiful culture of hospitality, of a strong sense of community. You get to really, truly embrace that. You get to operate collectively, which is incredibly beautiful. And I always had, I don't know, for me, it's like my culture has always been beautiful. It always made me stand out. Where everyone was, the same, my culture really allowed me to blossom and allowed me to be different and unique. And in every instances, like I will share my culture, whether it's serving in panel, because sometimes the university will ask us to serve in panel. I also had Penn State ask me to come in while I was still a student to come in and be a guest speaker because they were speaking about world culture or world history. And so sometimes they will select me to speak about the Sudanese culture. And it's always been an honor, to say, wow, I am the one they called upon to speak about my culture, to speak about my life, to speak about our tradition, our rich tradition, including the amazing food. And actually, for my master's program, I was taking a world health course. And at the end of the course, me along with other classmates, we say, of course, we're in the mission of advocating for health and improving health and in the field of health. But I think before we could dive deeper into helping people with their health, we have to get to know them. And what a beautiful way than bringing different dishes together to understand different culture. So we kind of like at the end of our course, we ended up having kind of like a course of food and dialogue, because even in something as even in health, you have to appreciate the culture before you could dive into different communities and begin to assess their need and begin to help them. So that also came in handy, even in my professional work, to just share my rich culture, the food, also the henna, and also the clothing. There's a couple of times throughout my college career where I put on the tobe and represented my country. And also the close-knitted community and the close-knitted nature of the Sudanese culture. For example, I used to joke around with all my friends all the time. I'm like, the Sudanese, they all know each other. There's not a single Sudanese person that doesn't know each other. And it's like you could even if you don't know the person directly, when you start engaging in conversation, you begin to see how that person is connected to you. Maybe they know someone in your family. Maybe they lived in the same neighborhood as you. Maybe they went to school with your brothers or sisters. So that is definitely has been very beautiful. So now I'm going to segue in a little bit into providing advice for parents and for children, because sometimes there could be an area where we could bridge the gap, bridge the gap and also provide good examples for the children or the students or the young adults, and also provide tips, focusing on how to stay focused, pursue your dreams, and also to avoid peer pressure and developing good habits as well. I think it's very vital. So for parents, I would say the most crucial thing is having ongoing conversation with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
An American saying, they always said, do not they say do not get to meet your neighbor
Yeah.
when there's a fire. That is very critical, that you get to know your neighbors before there's a fire, before you need their help. And I would like to apply that here as well. I say it is crucial to get to know your children and having those ongoing conversation before there's an issue, because then you develop trust, you develop dependability. You also become the highlight of your children, where they say, I trust my parent, and he or she will be the first person I go to when there's a problem. It's because you have developed that open dialogue where they could talk to you about anything, where you could serve as their consultant. Whatever challenges they're going through, you could serve to give them advice. You could serve to provide them with tools. Um, and also, I think for parents, also helping your kids develop critical thinking skills. And I know in our culture, there is kind of like, I'll just tell you what to do, and I'm not going to provide you the reasoning why. I think it's critical to provide your kids with the reasoning why, because that develop their critical thinking skills. So then if they are dealing with a similar situation, or they're dealing with some challenges, they could use those tools. They could use those tools to be able to develop and solve problem. And I think ultimately, what you want to do is help them develop good critical thinking skills that even when you're not there, they're able to solve their own problems. They're able to make good choices. So developing that relationship, helping them think through problems, and for children or young adults, because, we are not all children. I know some of you guys are young adults. Some of you guys are far into your career. I think it's really understanding that your parents are also humans. We tend to forget that, we tend to see our parents as superheroes, that they have strong emotions. But we need to understand that they're also human, that they're also going through transition, that they're also learning. And also, as a child, um, be the person to start the conversation. Be the person to
Mhm.
say, I will develop a good communication style with my parents. Regardless of how they may perceive it, say, I will be the first. And then building that relationship, because it's critical. And sometimes we want to try things on our own, which is good. But then your parents have lived this lifestyle. They have so many skill sets. They have a wealth of experience. So try to engage them with those experiences. Even ask your parents, just have a sit down, have coffee with them. Tell them, how were you as a child? What were some of your challenges? Get to know them in a very deep level. I know I had coffee one time with my dad, and I was asking him, so tell me more about your background. Tell me more about some of your challenges. Tell me some of the ideas that you started when you were young, and how you traveled to Saudi Arabia by yourself and were able to develop a good lifestyle for yourself and pursue your dreams. And he even told me when he was younger, he actually started a newspaper company where he was, providing the news for his local community. And I was like, wow, I never knew that. And I asked him that question when I was an adult. So that was kind of like very interesting. Sometimes we think we know our parents just because we're with them our entire life, but we haven't really asked those deep questions. We haven't really asked those questions about their childhood, because then that allows us to see our parents as humans, allows us to see them as someone we could have deep conversation with, someone we could learn with. And for children or young adults, also focus on your short-term goals and your long-term goals. And I think that is critical, because even when you have peer pressure, when you have a goal set in mind, it allows you to look at the bigger picture. It allows you to say, I'm going to eliminate distractions and I'm going to pursue my goals. And that really allows you to navigate any challenges or any pressures. And another thing that I know my mom would repeat every single day, every second of the day, from the time we wake up to the time we leave, maybe like 1,000 times a day, she constantly says, learn from other people's mistakes. You don't have to make your own mistakes. And I find that lesson to be very critical. I mean, of course, we all are going to learn from our own mistakes, but if you see someone already make that mistake, And if you could learn from it, you don't have to put yourself through that challenge of, losing financially, losing so many from different aspects. You could just collect the lessons learned from other people's example. Like they say, you don't have to put your hand in the
And the
stove
fire,
in
yes.
the fire. Someone in front of you already put their hand and they got burned. So I think that's very important. In doing your research before you start doing stuff, I think it's very critical because you could learn. And about developing habits, I would say the most important thing with developing habits is everything is important. For example, um, I, I saw this motivational video one time and it mentioned the critical aspect of making your bed in the morning. And and sometimes we think of that as, oh, it's just something so small. But when you start with the small things and you develop them, at least regardless of how the outcome of the day is, when you come home, you say, wow, my bed is made. And that gives you motivation. And that's like small wins. When you put those small wins, they give you the confidence to pursue bigger goals. So sometimes when we think of developing these small goals, even in school, you read every day or read for 5 minutes or read 20 pages a day. Those small habits, you might see them as, wow, those are really small habits. But honestly, when you put them together, they build the strong foundation for bigger awards, for bigger achievement, for bigger goals. They definitely build that foundation. And the number one thing I would say is pray, continue to be connected with something that's bigger than yourself. And even like prayer, it's repetition. And when you look at kind of like how, the things that God required us to do, like pray 5 times a day, that's repetition. And if you apply that to also your education, it's also going to propel you forward because you're constantly doing something consistently over the long haul. That's when you get results. Results, a lot of the time people ask me, they're like, oh, how do you become this? How do you become that? And I tell them, those big dreams, they start with the everyday ordinary, boring tasks that you have to do every day, whether you're having a good day or a bad day. Just continue to study, continue to put in the effort, continue to work hard. Um, so now I will just transition a little bit to speak about kind of like some of the work that I'm doing now, and transition to some of a company that I have started, and some of my accomplishments. So I recently received the 40 Under 40 Arab America, which was beautiful because it allowed me to showcase Sudan and showcase my culture. And so for Arab America, I believe I look kind of like historically, I think I'm the only Sudanese that had this award from Arab America. So happy to represent Sudan. And they're having a conference coming up in October in Michigan. So that will be amazing to engage with all the different Arabs from all different cultures and be able to come together in unity. I also received the 40 Under 40 from Boston Congress of Public Health. Um, and so all of these awards that came, it's just every day working hard, pursuing your dreams, believing, reading, being able to have good mentors with you and things of that nature. I also started my own public health firm. As I mentioned earlier in my story, you don't need to have all the details. You just need to have good ideas, and just roll your ideas out and learn as you go. So I started my public health consulting firm. The name of my public health consulting firm is Dr.Khulud LLC, which I launched it in February of this year. And of course, anytime that you're starting a new company, it's hard, it's challenges, it's very challenging, even just starting the beginning process, identifying what documentation I need, making sure that my name is not used anywhere else, that this is a unique name for the company. and then going through the process of applying, finding all the documentation. If something is not right, making a correction, creating a website for my organization, for my consulting firm, also creating business cards, networking, using different opportunities to network, get to meet people and things of that nature. So the mission of my consulting firm is to enhance community wellness by providing comprehensive and effective public health solutions. We definitely aim to improving population health to the implementation of the essential public health services. And pretty much, I have 4 different arms for my company. I have an individual arm, which is that one-on-one consulting, career development. Also, if someone is looking to advance, improve their health, their mental health, their physical health, or pursue their dreams or goals, I'm there to provide that individualized consulting. I also do organization and community consulting. So sometimes different organization. I had Maryland University School of Public Health reach out to me to speak to the students about, public health, being the experts in the room. And Penn State as well, they asked me in many occasions to come in as a guest lecturer to teach epidemiology and things of that nature. And then also I have a governmental arm as well. So I do governmental consulting as well. And the governmental consultant really truly consists of, supporting different governmental organizations. For example, when COVID came about, supporting them with training different staff, with infection prevention, and things of that nature. I also worked for the CDC Foundation, so I was providing a lot of guidance to different facilities. In the past 2 years, I have managed over 300 COVID-19 outbreaks within facility level. So speaking directly with the different directors of those 300 facilities, ensuring that they're protecting their residents and their staff, and their patients as well. And so pretty much my goal is to serve the community. That is my ultimate goal, is to serve the community and also make a difference in individuals' lives. And so I have always, the heart of hospitality, the heart of Sudan, the heart of the Sudanese people is to be of service. And so everything that I have done throughout my life is to be of service to the community. And so I want to leave you guys, as we're closing, I want to leave you guys with some beautiful quotes that I have lived my life with. The first quote is, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." So sometimes the difference of accomplishing your goals, accomplishing your dreams is just about believing in your dream and being courageous enough to take those first steps despite the challenges. And another quote that I deeply, deeply, deeply love and adore, and I actually heard it at a conference. It was a cardiology conference from Al Gore, I believe. And the quote says, "After the final no, there comes a yes. And on that yes, the future world depends." So I always deeply kind of like live by those 2 quotes. First, having the courage to pursue your dream. And the second is, you might get a lot of no's throughout your life, throughout your career. You might be faced with a lot of challenges, both family challenges, external challenges, cultural challenges, logistic challenges, but also always believing that a yes is going to come. And when that yes comes, when those doors open for you, you're going to make a difference in not only your individual life, but you're able to make a difference in everyone's life. And so I would love the opportunity for you guys to continue to engage me outside of this day here, but continue to engage me through my website, which is drkhuludkhudur.com. You're able to reach me there. You're also able to book my appointment if you need to book an appointment with me. If you want to support, feel free. And it was absolutely a true honor. And my heart is full. You know, like they say, when you accomplish your goals, the next step is paving the way and giving advice so people coming after you, they could learn from some of your lessons and have the courage to pursue their own dreams and goals. Thank you.
I have one thing to say. Uh, it is not easy. Anyone listening to us, been following me for all those many years, would tell you that it is not easy for anyone to keep me speechless or make me speechless. You know, you successfully have done that, and my muscle truly hurts. I've been smiling this whole time. It fills my heart with joy when I see a beautiful young woman, first of all, and a Sudanese woman especially, succeeding, and not just succeeding and, but la- there is no word, not thriving. I've been trying to think of a word that I can say to explain how amazing you are. And I'm sure everyone listening to us right now have their conclusion already. But the fact that you are doing all of this, your struggles, everything that you've been through, you're doing it with a grace, smile, and you are helping people in the process. You are truly a trailblazer. And you are paving the road. You have done that already, and you will continue to inspire, motivate, just give people hope, and especially on those dark times. So from here, I just want to start by the end part. Everyone that listened to Khulud right now, go visit her website, go check her work. The colleges, I have so many amazing presidents on so many colleges here, including Penn State and Hack and Central Penn College, Dickinson College. I tagged all of them, by the way.
Thank
And
you.
we need here in Pennsylvania, we need to have Khulud here, not just as a Sudanese speaker. You're just going to enrich our community here in Pennsylvania as you are enriching DC, Virginia, and beyond. I want to say congratulations for all your accomplishment. First of all, well deserved. And I know you at the beginning you were talking about how hard it was, and it's not just hard. This is close to impossible for someone to finish a master degree in 1 year. I'll tell you that. But to do that and then do your PhD and come out doing everything that you are doing, you are deserving of every recognition, celebration, award that comes your way. This is something that you have to like really not just be proud of, but show it. Um, some of the issues that we have in our community is we don't like talking about ourselves. A lot of people, I've been trying to break this stigma for a long time on like how you need to learn from the culture you're in. You need to learn that the CV or the resume is basically telling the good things because people don't read minds. People are not going to know you're existing, or they know that you do what the stuff that you're doing right now, unless you come out and talk about it. So I hope every young person, or even people our age, who are trying to make a change in their life. They will listen to your wise words and they start. And it's every day is a new day. So I want you to give us something. We're going to do like a little bit of fun, couple minutes, lighting round. But before that, we do a like raising awareness about Sudan. We started the stories from Sudan on the Hagir network before, and we have so many rich, beautiful stories from Sudan to basically raise awareness. This could be stories from your childhood, anytime up to today. It could be a fun, sad. You can use that time to talk about the current war or anything that will raise awareness about Sudan. So you have like 2 minutes.
So one thing that I could say about Sudan, so in my trip, I believe in 2011 or 2004, I went to Sudan. And of course, I went to the neighborhood store, which was a couple of blocks away from my house. And when I went there, I went there a couple of times, so I thought I knew the way. And so I wanted to get something. And I was like, okay, I told my, family I could go there by myself and then come back. And because it was so close and, I said I could do it. So I went there and along the way, I went there, but then on the way back, I got lost. And then I went to that same store and I said, excuse me, I got lost, but this is my family and this is their name. Can you guys direct me into getting back to my house? And this just speaks to the culture of Sudan, how it's very close knitted that you could go to a store that's 5 blocks away and you could just use your youngest cousin's name and they're able to say, oh, go left, go right, and you'll get there. So I think for me, that is one memory that I still hold so dearly in my heart, that people are so connected with their community. People are so connected with the environment to the point where you could go to a store a couple of blocks from your house and you could just say the youngest person who's 5 years old, their name, and they're able, just from that small information, they're able to redirect you to where your house is. So that level of connectivity, that level of care, that level of community will forever stay in my heart.
Love it. So now we are on like the fast, whatever come to your mind part. Okay. So who
Okay.
inspires you the most?
Okay, so the person who inspired me the most was my pediatrician. He was also my brother's pediatrician. From the time we were 9 to the time I turned 18. And before I just thought like he's very kind. Sometime when my dad came in to the doctor's appointment, my dad said, "Oh, I'm complaining about a heart, something on my lungs or something like that." Any normal doctor would be like, "Oh, I'm just a pediatrician. Go see your normal
Yeah.
doctor. Make an appointment." No, my pediatrician sat him on the table and he examined him. He said, "Oh, your heart, your lung is all good." He also wrote the history of the U.S. Public Health Service. So the Surgeon General of the United States asked him to write the history of the U.S. Public Health Services. And so I got my own copy. I'm actually looking at it right now. And he wrote a note that said, "Be a public health warrior." And so I carry that with me all the time. Sadly, he passed away in 2019, but he has been my professor. He has been my doctor. He has been my motivation. We know his family. They know our family. I met all his children. I met his wife. He's just an inspirational person. He actually even gave the commencement speech to Yale University. And I was at work. He emailed me the commencement speech to Yale Medical School, and I got to read it while he was presenting his commencement speech to Yale. So his level of care, and he also deeply talked. He has a book called Vital Signs: A Young's Doctor's Struggle with Cancer. So
Mm.
in his book, he talks about how he is a doctor, but then he's also a patient at the same time. So
Yeah.
navigating that and having a deep mission to helping people, not just from the perspective of I'm a doctor, this is what I dreamed about, but from a perspective of I was also a patient as well. So he served as my motivation to always, pursue and pursue my dreams and be able to make real changes in people's lives.
What would you tell 16 years old Khulud?
What would I tell 16-year-old me is that as a, sometime as a female, as a Sudanese female, the emphasis is always on your brother, or the emphasis is always on the male family member or the male child, because we say this is the guy that's going to take the name of the
Yeah.
family. And I remember we were younger, my mom used to sing to my brother, "Oh, you're gonna be my doctor," and she used to sing that to him every day. And of course, with females, you kind of neglect them. You'll say, "Okay, you'll finish college, or you'll just finish high school,
Get
go
married.
married." And we don't put high expectation on our females. So a lot of the time, they end up having the sense of, I'm not capable, or I shouldn't strive for more. And sometimes you deal with those challenges. But I will tell my younger self is that anything you put your mind to, it is possible. It is not far from reach. As long as you could dream it, as long as it's in your mind and heart, it is possible for you. And so I take that on with me.
I'm in Aoi right now. Last one, guilty pleasure. We get everything from ice cream to watching things that nobody would think that, you do, or it's whatever.
Yeah. So my guilty pleasure, and I know my mom like does not like this at all. Like, I love sweets. I love sweets all the time. And I remember one time I was a ambassador for my community. Um, and I also serve on the board for housing, and I got the opportunity to introduce the mayor 2 years ago. And so I do stuff with my community, like public health initiatives. So I was a public health ambassador. And so I was giving demonstrations to my community, the amount of sugar, and I made it fun because there was like young people, there were so many, there was children, and then there's also adults. So, I brought a can of soda, and then I had the little kids pour how much sugar they thought it was in it, and doing all these fun activities. And so when I came home, I was drinking some soda, and my mom said, "I will go tell the community that you serve that you love sweets." So my guilty pleasure is I love sweet and I love coffee. So those are my two guilty pleasures.
Oh my goodness. I really don't want this to end, and hopefully we will have you again next time presenting a seminar here in Pennsylvania. I'll make sure to see that is happening. But I am truly, truly honored that you give us this time, and I hope everyone listening to us right now is as happy as I am and as inspired. And I hope all of you will do your due diligence search, go contact Khulud, go on the website, help support, spread awareness about what she's doing, and connect her if you have any connections. Also, I hope you will listen to her and feel that it is not easy said than done, because it's done and it happened. So you can start and choose today, and also choose to be the change that you want to see in this world. Khulud, I am grateful for your existence in this world. I'm grateful for the opportunity to sit with you. Thank you. Stay beautiful as you are. And please continue being who you are. And we're going to see you in way higher places than you are already in right now. I have no doubt.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, you have always been a role model, seeing how you have inspired so many individuals and how you recognize females and providing platforms. So it's through your platforms that we are able to thrive and connect with each other. So I am deeply, deeply thankful, and I just wish you all the best and the many success in this amazing platform. And also, I was looking at your work and I was just blown away to have a Sudanese woman like yourself, beautiful, smart, amazing, create such an amazing platform. and allow others to join in and just bring in all the voices together. It is truly, truly an honor from the bottom of my heart. I thank you. And I hope this is just the start to our collaboration and a start
Definitely.
to our friendship. And I can't wait to continue this conversation.
Definitely, definitely. And thank you everyone for watching. I hope you got something out of this, and we will see you next Friday.